Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Welcome to day 62 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. So today we're going to be talking about vows. Sister Faustina has been in the process of getting ready to take her perpetual vows, where in essence she marries herself to Christ and Christ to her. Obviously, there's not the sexual aspect and the bringing about of children in this union, but it still takes on a marriage theme no less, just as priests married the church. And obviously those of us out in the world who are lay people that have a vocation to marriage, we take vows on the day of our wedding. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Our readings are from Notebook 1, numbers 229 through 233. The Little Novice of Jesus, Sister Faustina. At the beginning of the retreat, Jesus told me, "During this retreat, I myself will direct your soul. I want to confirm you in peace and love." And so the first few days passed by. On the fourth day, doubts began to trouble me. Is not this tranquility of mine false? Then I heard these words. My daughter, imagine that you are the sovereign of all the world and have the power to dispose of all things according to your good pleasure. You have the power to do all the good you want, and suddenly a little child knocks on your door, all trembling and in tears, and trusting in your kindness, asks for a piece of bread lest he die of starvation. What would you do for this child? Answer me, my daughter. And I said, Jesus, I would give the child all it asked and 1,000 times more. And the Lord said to me, that is how I am treating your soul. In this retreat, I am giving you not only peace, but also such a disposition of soul that even if you wanted to experience uneasiness, you could not do so. My love has taken possession of your soul, and I want you to be confirmed in it. Bring your ear close to my heart, forget everything else, and meditate upon my wondrous mercy. My love will give you the strength and courage you need in these matters. Jesus, living host, you are my mother. You are my all. It is with simplicity and love, with faith and trust, that I will always come to you, O Jesus. I will share everything with you as a child with its loving mother, my joys and sorrows, in a word, everything. No one can comprehend what my heart feels when I meditate on the fact that God unites me with himself through the vows. God makes known to me, even now, the immensity of the love he already had for me before time began. And as for me, I have just begun to love him in time. His love was ever great, pure, and disinterested, and my love for him comes from the fact that I am beginning to know him. The more I come to know him, the more ardently, the more fiercely I love him, and the more perfect my acts become. Meanwhile, each time I call to mind that in a few days I am to become one with the Lord through perpetual vows, a joy beyond all description floods my soul. From the very first time that I came to know the Lord, the gaze of my soul became drowned in him for all eternity. Each time the Lord draws close to me and my knowledge of him grows deeper, a more perfect love grows within my soul. Before confession, I heard these words in my soul. My daughter, tell him everything and reveal your soul to him as you do before me. Do not fear anything. It is to keep you in peace that I place this priest before your soul and myself. The words he will speak to you are my words. Reveal to him your soul's greatest secrets. I will give him light to know your soul. When I approached the confessional, I felt so much at ease in my soul about speaking of everything that later on I myself was astounded. His answers brought a great peace into my soul. His words are, and always will be pillars of fire which enlightened and will go on enlightening my soul in its pursuit of the greatest sanctity. The directions I received from Father Andres I have noted on another page in this notebook. Diary number 55. All right, so Sister Faustina is almost to the finish line. She's just about ready to take her perpetual vows. And the way she talks sounds like, a bride who is almost ready to walk down the aisle. You're so excited. Everything is perfect. All is joy. Everything is, brimming with happiness. At least that's how I felt on my wedding day. But, in our day and age, and maybe it's always been this way, we have a very hard time with vows. We oftentimes view vows as like a contract. Two people come together. I'm going to provide this service. You're going to provide said service, or I'm going to pay you for this. And if you don't come through, then I'm not going to pay you, or I'm, quitting this relationship. We often treat vows the very same way. It's very sad because we know, especially in our country, the United States, that divorce is rampant. Now, my parents are divorced, and my parents didn't get divorced until I was an adult, but make no mistake, it's still devastating for a family. I don't know a single person who isn't touched by divorce. And as a child of divorced parents, my one greatest wish, and I will wish it until the day I die, is that my parents had found a way to live out their vows that they made to each other on their wedding day. For better or worse, sickness and health, I will stand with you. And, it's hard because I know it can be done through the grace of God. And I know that there are abusive relationships out there, and inevitably I'll get somebody, who tells me about that. I know that. And I recognize fully that there are times when people have to step away from a marriage because of safety concerns and things like that. Yes, but I'm talking just in general. On the whole, a lot of people just give up on their vows because it's usually this person is not making me happy anymore, or I just can't put up with this person any longer. And so we abandon our vows that we've taken, and those vows were made before God. And that's the thing, I don't think we understand the magnitude of what we did on our wedding day. We stood before God and we asked God to witness. We made the vows to each other, husband and wife, but we asked God to witness it, and He sealed it. And I like to think of it as a supernatural thread that He binds the spouse's souls with. And it cannot be broken except for by death, because we know that there is not marriage in heaven. There's no need for it anymore. And so with our vows, we have to take them seriously, because you can't break that heavenly bread unless, the church has found that your marriage was not valid from the very beginning for whatever reason. We don't have the power to break supernatural things. We just don't. And so we have a lot of people walking around who think that they've broken that thread, but they haven't. And, it's really sad because so many families are torn apart. I know I've suffered greatly over my parents' divorce. And, I love both of my parents to death. I harbor no ill will against them, but I will always wish that they had found a way to call God into their marriage and stay true to their vows. And so, with Sister Faustina, she's getting ready to take her vows. Now, her vows she's going to make with Christ. And she will have this intimate union with Him. Like I said, it's not sexual as the husband and wife type of union is, but she's still saying to Christ, I am giving up a lot of things for you, and Christ is giving Himself to her. And it's beautiful. And it's perpetual. It goes on and on and on. And priests do the same things with the church. That's why when you make that sacrament, you can't change your mind, right? A priest is always a priest, even if he's the world's greatest sinner. Married people are still married, even if they think that they've broken that supernatural thread. And what I wish is that we could know and understand, what that intimacy does for us. Now, I've been married to my husband for almost 20 years. And, on our wedding day, I thought I knew him so well, and I thought this was the pinnacle of our love. And I realize now that on our wedding day, I absolutely loved my husband, and I did know him. But over these past 20 years, I have come to know him more deeply, more intimately, We've had experiences that have bound us in special ways, good and bad. And I know that will only continue to grow. And the thing is I cannot think about myself without thinking about my husband. He is an extension of me. There is no just Amy anymore. It's me and him joined together. He is joined to my soul. And that's powerful. And you know, my grandparents, both sets were married for, one set was married for like 63 years and the other one for 59, I think. I only have one living grandmother left. But when my maternal grandfather passed away, him and my grandmother had been married for 63 years. That's a long time. That's a long time. And, you know, their marriage had ups and downs. But when my grandfather passed away, it was like my grandmother lost a part of her, lost a limb or something. You know, even up to the point of when she died, she was still clinging to him, wanting him. She just didn't feel whole without him. And that's what 63 years does. And, you know, I've been married for 20. I can't imagine the depth of knowledge and love you have for somebody at 63 years. How could they not be a part of who you are? And when they leave, there has to be just this vacancy, this emptiness that's there that, you know, I can't imagine. I just can't. And in a way, it's so beautiful because it shows how that supernatural thread is real. If you can think back onto your day of your wedding, or if you are a religious person that's listening to this, a priest or a nun, you know, how you felt so full of energy and anticipation and, you know, joy when you first took your vows, whatever that may be. Recall those in times when it gets hard. And remind yourself that there is something deeper going on here than just, you know, a civil union that the government recognizes. This is supernatural stuff. And it binds us in a miraculous and amazing way. And we don't get to break that. So I think it's amazing. I love to think about our vows that we take. I think it's a shame that more people don't take it seriously and recognize the magnitude of what those vows mean and what they can do. They can grow you in love. They can grow you in knowledge of your spouse, or if you're a religious person, you know, a religious sister or something like that, grow you in knowledge of Christ. And I just think it's truly beautiful. And it is. It's just a shame we don't take it seriously enough. So that's all for today, Catholic pilgrims. I hope to see you back here for day 63. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.